Let's get ready to rumble!
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
When William Scull was made Canelo's mandatory for the IBF strap, Canelo made a point of letting the IBF know, you can't tell me what to do. He doesn't abide by the rules of mandates. And that's fair enough. He doesn't have to. The Cuban, based in Germany, picked up the vacant strap that Canelo was either stripped or vacated, outpointing the Russian Vladimir Shishkin, controversially. Now Canelo wants to fight William Scull and attempt to become undisputed at 168 for the second time. Is it a cherry pick? That's the question. You know, I could start talking trash about Canelo, saying he's not fighting who the fans want him to fight, but he wants to do his own thing. He's not complying with Riyadh season. He's not complying with sanctioning bodies. It's just a case of
do what you like. Yeah.
A unification / undisputed fight with Scull. Okay, that's what it would be titled, undisputed. But it's basically Canelo's mandatory from last year who he ignored. Now, the Canelo fans will tell you it's the greatest thing ever. But it's not even slick, telling us the mandatory that he wouldn't fight because he doesn't have to obey rules is now a suitable dance partner, when he could have just fought him in the mandatory last year. Now, William Scull himself has said that he's been contacted by Canelo's team about a potential undisputed fight. There's a lot of figures being quoted that Canelo's turned down 70 to 100 million from Turki Al-Sheikh to face Terence Crawford. All unsubstantiated, of course. As for the actual fight, I don't see Scull beating Canelo, whether it's a controversial decision or Canelo catches up with him. But I do see him outboxing Canelo in the early stages. He does have very good counter-punching skills, which I feel will be effective against Canelo. But whether Scull will be able to keep it up for 12 rounds, I have my doubts. Doesn't have a great work rate, and he certainly doesn't have a massive punch. Terence Crawford had one fight last year, one fight the year before that, defeating Errol Spence. You have to wonder if the inactivity and age creeping up on him could perhaps bring about the deterioration of his skills. And I'm a Terence Crawford fan, but I'm not a fan of him putting his career on hold for Canelo.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
Frank Warren is talking about a rematch with Matchroom 5 versus 5. Well, if that's the case, on the top of my Christmas wish list is that Anthony Kakache defends that IBF 130-pound strap against Sugar Nunes. It's only right. It's due time. I'm not sure if we'll get AJ versus Fury on there. That would be hot as well. This 5 versus 5 will be scheduled for May. I'm just going to mention the fighters who would be available for May. I'm not going to mention everyone. Like, we know Queenbury are heavy, pardon the pun, at heavyweight. A Coley, Adelaide, Dakers, it might be a little too soon for him to make a comeback. They've got this Eastern European guy, CINCO, who looks pretty good. And just loads of guys there. Matchroom, they've got Hrgovic, who, if he's going to come back and continue his career, this 5 versus 5 might be the ideal situation. There's lots of names you can match him against there. I was listening to Talk Sports, and I heard Adam Cattrall say Filip Hrgovic, Matchroom, versus Moses Atorma, Queensbury.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
At light heavy, Queensbury have got Willie Hutchinson. He could rematch Craig Richards. Queensbury also have Zach Parker, Ezra Taylor. Liam Cameron, on Twitter he said that Frank Warren has made an offer to Ben Whittaker, but Ben Whittaker's acting, well, not so much him. It would be him and Ben Shalom not handling the situation well again. This radio silence thing. And maybe that's the best thing. And I don't mean that disrespectfully when I say that, but if you're not about that life, just stay quiet. Now, the only person talking is Liam Cameron, not hearing nothing from Ben Shalom or Ben Whittaker. In the immediate aftermath, Cameron signed with Frank Warren's Queensbury Promotions, who then went about sending an offer to Whittaker's representatives, Boxer. However, Cameron claims the approach was unsuccessful, as Boxer CEO Shalom wants the fight to take place on one of his shows. And my reply to that is, who needs the fight more? Liam Cameron has already gained a lot of mileage and popularity in the wake of that draw. Ben Whittaker has been called a quitter, but Ben Shalom believes it's impressive to try and sell him as this A-side fighter at this point. He should be doing whatever he can to get this fight on ASAP before Cameron and Frank Warren move on and leave Ben Shalom and Ben Whittaker stranded explaining why the fight hasn't happened. And I like Ben Whittaker, and I'm not saying the fight necessarily has to be on Frank Warren's platform, but if Frank has sent an offer and you're determined to have the fight on Boxer/Sky, then you send a counter offer and take charge of the situation. The whole, it's got to be on a Boxer card. Why? Why does it have to be on a Boxer card? Queensbury's Echo Esserman versus Matchroom Solomon Sissoko at 147. Interesting. Queensbury's Denzel Bentley versus Matchroom's Felix Cash in a rematch. Felix is coming off that loss to Tyler Denny. But let's not forget, just a couple of years back, he made short work of Denzel Bentley, who's went on to do some good things since that loss, and Felix has been in the wilderness since that win. Any matchups that I missed that you think they could make in this 5 versus 5 scheduled for May? So what's happening with the Golden Boy Matchroom 5 versus 5? They probably got to get Golden Boy and Oscar to take it seriously first.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.
I still want to recap 2024. Alexander Usyk dissected Tyson Fury, technically in the ring and mentally outside of it. It was a thing of beauty. Fury started their back and forth loud, following up from 2022 when he was calling this guy a midget, a middleweight, gap tooth foreigner nobody wants to see, no Ukrainian or Eastern European as heavyweight champion. They've got to come from a westernized country, Britain or America. I want 70-30 because it's me they're coming to see. You sausage. You little cowardly, ugly bastard. You had your opportunity to fight me in April. Biggest fight of all time, fight of the century. That was in 2023. And listen, he's a smack talker. Muhammad Ali was a smack talker. And yes, I'm having an indulgent moment in his downfall. There has to be certain conditions with being a smack talker. If you smack talk and you win, well, all the more so impressive. You talk the talk and you walk the walk. When you smack talk and lose, well, there's varying degrees of losing. You can lose comprehensively, and you can lose and it's competitive where either man could have got the decision perhaps, or it's a dour struggle and one man eventually has to concede ground to the winner. It is what it is. In my opinion, Usyk won 2 decisive decisions. And while Tyson wasn't overwhelmed, someone who they were saying was the greatest ever or a top 10 heavyweight shouldn't be losing to someone he himself said is a small cruiserweight and a middleweight. But you know, Usyk's stage presence, while not vulgar, has been very effective. Nonetheless, I'll never leave you alone. A lot of people didn't understand what it meant at first, and then we realized, I'm going to stay on you and I'm going to throw real punches at you. He told Tyson Fury the blueprint and carried it out twice. Greedy belly. Here. 70-30 greedy belly. Take it.
I see all this talk of boxing fights. They want 50%. Usyk's and all this. Tyson's being greedy. Where I'm standing, Usyk, you and your team are worth 30%. You either take it or you leave it. And if you don't want it, go and fight Daniel Dubois at the Copper Box and get a few $1 million. If you want to make some real money, come and fight the Gypsy King. But I will say, for every day from today that you linger, mess around, I'm going to deduct 1% from the 30%. So every day, I'm going to deduct 1% until you take it. And if you don't take it, fight Dubois for $2 million. Not a problem. But how in the world could Jews ever offer me a deal? Not possible.
Hey, greedy belly, I accept your offer. 70-30 split the fight with you on April 29th at Wembley. But you will promise to donate to Ukrainian immediately after the fight. On £1 million on every day of your deal, you will pay 1% from your poorest to Ukrainian people. Deal?
Smack talking is one thing. You know, Ali took it too far. Called him Frazier, Patterson, Tyrrell, Uncle Tom's, House, N-words and shit like that. He went too far. And he did more stuff. He went too far. Fury Where he went too far, in my opinion. Okay, you're going to call him names, you're going to call Usyk names, cool. But when you try to humiliate your opponent and offer him scraps in public, it was distasteful. And I'm not one who is opposed for someone taking the majority of the food on the table if they're able to do so. But the fact he was going to walk away from the fight if he didn't get 70-30 was disgusting. And if it wasn't for the Saudis, we wouldn't have got the fight.
Fury wanted Usyk to say 70-30 is unacceptable, which most people wouldn't have had an issue if Usyk did say that. But Usyk said deal. And he still tried to walk away from the fight, Fury.
And Frank Warren has to realise, he can bang on about Tyson Fury having bipolar while he says insensitive things. But people are looking at the paper trail of bullcrap that he said, the excuses he's made to try and welch out of the Usyk fight. And now he's lost. A lot of people want to take their pound of flesh, and nobody is going to stop them. 1 minute, I don't care about the money, then you're trying to take all the money in the pot versus Usyk. Did he give the homeless people that money he said he wasn't going to give? No charities came out and said, yeah, Tyson Fury's donated this. No one. None of the media have covered it. Even Zhilei Zhang told him to stop all the fake call-outs and the lies, saying he's going to fight Joshua and then Usyk. We hear he's going to fight Chris Healy for the Central Area title. Then it was Jayo Pataya. One time he said he was training with Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor said, no, he's not. Stop all the lies.
Then you've got the disgruntled media observers, disgruntled that Usyk cleaned up Fury twice at TalkSport, another on ESPN, and some of the Wilder supporters, who I guess wanted Wilder's losses to Fury to appreciate if he could beat Usyk. And you have to ask yourself, was Fury right? Do they really want a champion from that part of the world? The way they're reacting to Usyk and his successes makes you wonder, did Fury have a point?
It's a small cruiserweight. A foreigner don't speak good English, and nobody's really interested anyway. He's not saying anything I like. I want the big fights that people are interested in, and that ain't one of them.
What if he was to beat Joshua?
Klitschko brothers, they got similar treatment. Not in the UK, in America. And I guess the Eastern European temperament for outsiders is a little like Marmite. But when Usyk appeared in the press conference in the Hitman suit and the briefcase, convinced Tyson Fury to sign the picture where Usyk was whooping his ass in the 9th round. I mean, he just took the stage and Tyson had to stay there silent. You gotta give Usyk his due. Like the rematch of AJ in Saudi Arabia, when they started playing them drums and Usyk did that dance and AJ was just looking on. I said, this is an ominous sign already. And it was. I'm not going to say like Ali in Zaire, where they were singing Bumaye, Ali kill him. I'm not going to say it was as iconic as that, but in its own way, this guy is a beast at the psychological warfare. He really is. And I don't care if casuals or historians want to say he's not an ATG. In my opinion, he is an all-time great fighter. Now, all-time great fighter is a totally different list to an all-time great heavyweight. Usyk has an accumulative resume at cruiser and at heavy. In my opinion, with 23 fights, which is an abnormally low number of fights to put someone in the ATG category, I see him as an all-time great fighter. He can only fight within the conditions of the era he fights in. He can't have a resume like Ezra Charles, like an Archie Moore. They robbed Usyk of a stoppage in the first fight, which might have put paid to a rematch later down the line, because I'm not sure if Tyson psychologically would have been ready for the quick turnaround from May to December if he actually got stopped. What the referee was playing at when he jumped in front of Usyk and stopped him landing the coup de grace, I don't know. So AJ gets knocked out by Dubois. Fury loses twice to Usyk. AJ could have got the Dubois rematch. Eddie Hearn and AJ didn't fancy it. The two winners in the equation, Usyk and Dubois, have met already, and Usyk won, despite the protests of many that Dubois should have won with a borderline controversial body shot, which was no more legal than the one Anthony Joshua landed on Usyk in the second fight. Dubois jumped in the ring after Usyk beat Fury for the second time, demanding a run back. Some are questioning, is Dubois overlooking Joseph Parker? Perhaps not. Perhaps he's very confident in his ability right now and views Joseph as a light snack. And if that's how he sees it, that's how he sees it. Oddly enough, 2025 could see the two winners from 2024, Dubois and Usyk, still a little less popular than Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, who theoretically could dwarf all in boxing if they face off at Wembley Stadium, White Hart Lane, or Riyadh Season.
Ups and downs, they happen. Some people is always up. My life is up and down. So I've got to get used to the turbulent times and keep riding the wave. I can't stop now. I have to keep going until I reach my destination.
What are you targeting this year?
3-time world champion. And Tyson Fury.
So when is that happening?
We're not sure, but that's my target. 2025, I'm targeting Tyson Fury.
The Irish Star picked up a quote. They're saying AJ showed his humility when he was asked how a fight between himself and Tyson Fury would play out. While it may have been tempting for Joshua to share that he would dominate his long-time rival, the 35-year-old simply said that only God knows how a fight would actually go. But for me, somebody's going to be cheering Team AJ. Don't you want to hear him say he's going to dominate Fury and win the fight any means necessary? Isn't that what you want to hear? Only God knows. We can flashback pre-fight Dubois when he asked the fans to pray for him. I didn't think nothing of it at the time, but a few people brought it up after. And look, man, I see AJ and Fury like this. It's not a world title fight. And it might be unfair on contenders like Zhang, Caballero, and Bacoli. But the winner of AJ and Fury is going to be pushed in the front by the media to face either Dubois or Usyk. I'm not saying it's right. That's what's going to happen. But AJ versus Fury is a fans fight. It's not for a world title. It's a fans fight. Casual fans and hardcores. It's a boxing fans fight. And AJ did that strange shit before he fought Usyk the first time, asking Clifton Mitchell, the security, a former British title contender though, Clifton Mitchell. He was asking him, what did you think of Usyk? I think Clifton was baffled. Is this guy about to defend his world titles? Asking me, what do I think of Usyk? I'm here to make sure he gets in the ring safe and keep order. That's just AJ though. That's AJ. And if you support AJ, you got to take the good with the bad.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
No one can do it better.